right? So just take it as like a person who has like, if it's I'm sure one of y'all out there watching this, y'all got killer abs, right? I envy you, right? So if a person is out there with killer abs, a lot of times we see the abs and we want that. You know what I'm saying? Like you see they muscles and you want the muscles. But what you're overlooking is the discipline and the work that they put in to get it. So many people, oh man, you lucky. Oh, you got this, oh, whatever. And it's like, bro, nothing comes without sacrifice. If you want to understand what somebody has gained, first understand their sacrifice. Whenever I see somebody with something, like if I have mentors and people that I talk to that are way higher up in corporate America than me, have way more money, way more success than me, I'm never really interested in the things they have as much as I'm interested in how they got it. I always realized if you made it up to a certain level, if you got a certain job or make a certain amount of money, I always ask people, what did you sacrifice to get that? That's what I'm interested in. Understanding the level of sacrifice that it takes to go from good to great. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to go from good to great. It's easy to get complacent being good, right? It's easy to get lazy when you good, I'm good, right? But getting to great takes discipline. And discipline will never fail you. I genuinely believe that. The person that has the killer abs, I'm sure will tell you what they don't eat, how early they wake up before work to work out or late at night to work out before sleep, and how much protein. I was kicking it with my boy Kel. My boy Kel is a pro athlete overseas, and we was kicking it recently, and he was telling me, I was with him actually in person, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, you got to look at all the food that you put in your body as a deposit. I'm like, oh, okay, parable of the talent. As a deposit. He like, yeah, so as much as I work out and stuff, so if I eat a slice of pizza or whatever like that, it's just like, all right, I know that, like, all right, I deposited this, so I gotta go and deposit more over here. And so I'm like, oh, so you mean to tell me when I'm just eating cookies and cake at midnight and I ain't counting up the cost, you mean that's why I don't got the killer abs, Kel? That's why I don't got the guns, Kel. Cause I'm just eating and I ain't counting. Look, some of us, I'm just cookies, don't matter. Reese cup, don't matter. Like you ain't counting nothing. But yet the person that's in shape like a Kel, that's out here killing it, they like, oh, it's more to it. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes it's more to what you think about something. What y'all talking about in them comments? Thank you so much, Ashley. Shioki, what's up, bro? Woo, everybody wants to be, not everybody wants to become. Woo! That's what happens when you get a pastor listening to your podcast. Appreciate you, bro. Everybody wants to be, not everybody wants to become. You got to really unpack what he's saying there. Everybody wants the Porsche. Everybody wants the big house. Everybody wants the title, but they don't want to do what it takes to become that. What I love about that, Chioki, is that you might not know, and some of y'all might not know, I have something called The Purpose Guide. Have a whole podcast episode on it if you're interested in checking it out. People, this is a commercial break, by the way. And it's called The Purpose Guide, and there are really 5 ways that I guide people to their purpose. It is learn, plan, do, become, be. Whoo! So before you can... I ain't gonna say it. Before you can be, you gotta become. He just told y'all. He ain't even know. Learn, plan, do, become, be. We all want to be, but we don't want to learn, plan, do, and become. All right, I gotta jump back into this so I can get done. Y'all playing games with your mans. All right, so now we are about to jump into the financial part of this millionaire mindset. Thoughts worth more than money, right? So I want to talk about what it costs to be you. Okay. What does it cost to be you? This is something that I didn't make up myself as far as this concept. I actually got this from Jamal King. I was a part of Make Real Estate Real, his real estate program. So I want to, share the reference there. That was the first time that I heard this idea of what does it cost to be you. Although I had actually done this exercise a couple years prior to that myself, I didn't call it nothing. I just kind of did it. Let me take a sip of this water. The bad thing is because I'm wearing this mic, you could probably hear me like drinking this water like in a weird way. All right, so now we're talking about the nuts and bolts of what does it cost to be me. So this is an example of what it costs to be you. Now we talking about money, making money, being a good steward of money, all those type of things as my back itches. All right, so the first thing in this example, when you think about what it costs to be you, this is an exercise that I would advise everybody to do. In this example, we got rent at $1,500 a month. Keep in mind, this is an example. Estimates, yours might be way more, way less, depending on your personal situation. But you want to just look at the example here. Rent, mortgage, $1,500. Car note, $350. Gas for the car, $200. Utilities, $700. Phone, $100. Food, $250. TV, internet, $200. Then I threw $250 for miscellaneous. In this example, this person, it costs $3,500 a month to be you. What does this mean? Why do I need to understand what it costs to be me? You need to understand what it costs to be you if you're going to have the millionaire mindset, because with the millionaire mindset, we put our money in its place. We treat our money like a bad kid. We don't let money run around and do what it want to do. We don't let money talk back to us and say whatever it want to say. I tell my money, you get down, you sit down, you go over there, bro. You feel what I'm saying? The problem with some of us is we let our money talk back to us. We let our money do a little bit of everything, dog. Let me tell you this. I don't let my money talk back to me in public. Like what you say, man, I said going to the savings, bruh. Get your butt over. You want some Gucci loafers. Man, what? I'm about to invest in this stock, bro. Get over in the stock. See, some of our problem is we get money and then money, it get hot and it's in your pocket burning a hole and the money telling you what to do. The money looking at you like, I'm about to go get a benzo. Bruh. That check, that income tax come, that money looking at you like, what? I'm about to go get them Ferragamos, okay? Pharaoh what? I tell my money, go and sit down, bruh. This is what I'm telling you. You got to talk to your money. You got to tell your money what to do, but you can't do that if you don't even know how much it costs to be you, okay? So let's get into it. If it costs $3,500 a month to be me, that means it costs $42,000 per year to be me. Now, why does this matter? Now I'm about to unpack this for you and tell you why this matters. All right, if I ask you how much money you make right now, I could tell you that the average person in America makes about $55,000 a year. Last time I checked, about 4 months ago, we did a show talking about that. That's why you got to listen to this podcast. What's wrong with y'all not listening to this podcast? Then you got to share the podcast with somebody. Then you got to like the podcast. Then you got to search Inspire Guys People on YouTube and then follow that. And then you get the daily shorts and the short content for all, some of y'all just want 15 seconds, 30 seconds. You get that every day, bro. Anyway, I digress. The reason this is important is because if I ask you how much money you make, you always say your gross salary. Okay, cool. I make, how much you make, John? I make $75,000 a year. Well, do you? Well, do you, buddy? Do you pay taxes out of the check? Do you have health care, John? Do you go to the dentist, buddy? Well, here's the thing, John. If you answered yes to those questions, which would be the correct answer, then, John, you probably bring home about $53,000 a year. There's probably a good 20,000 of those dollars that's being withheld from your check one way or another. So we got to first understand money from a realistic standpoint and stop lying to ourselves, because it sounds good because, you had the dream and the goal of you always want to make more than 75,000. So now you make 75 and you telling your whole family, I make $75,000 a year, grandma. Your grandma like, I'm so proud of my grandson. He makes $75,000 a year. And you go and when you go and get your car, like you go and you fill out the loan form and they say, how much money you make a year? And you say, I make $75,000 a year. Mr. Car dealership, man. And you just feel good. But if you go and look at that net pay, You ain't never seen 75, John. You ain't nowhere near 75. So this is why it's important to understand how much it costs to be you, because if it costs $42,000 a year to be you, like our example, this is before, oh man, I got to go back to this. Like, I got to go back to the, look, like this ain't like we talking rent, car note, gas, utilities, phone, food. Okay, you ain't went to the club. You ain't paid no tithes. You ain't paid back the people you owe them yet. You ain't went to the movies. Like, this is just bare minimum. It costs $42,000 to be you, bruh. So if you only bringing home 58, 54, you only got about $8,000 to buy clothes. And so this is why it's important to understand how much it costs to be you. Now, I want you to understand in general, this is something a lot of times we don't talk about. We don't talk about tax brackets enough and understanding which tax bracket you fall within. So I'm going to tell you based on the 2023 tax brackets, I'm going to call out two tax brackets in particular. The one that falls within the average income for Americans is the 22% tax bracket, right? This is for people that make between about $44,000 and $95,000 a year. You're going to be paying 22% on your taxes. Well, here's the thing you got to also understand. This is when you start talking about understanding gaining wealth and making money. There's so many dynamics to it. Well, let's say you make 95, but then you sell something and make $10,000. Well, now you go to the 24% tax bracket, right? Now you're paying more taxes. That means that's how you might owe more at the end of the year or whatever. But let's stick to the 22. If you're paying 22% on your taxes, then right off of the back, you can understand that if you make, $70,000 a year, what's that? 20% is $14,000. So if you just say, okay, you taking $15,000 off, whatever it is, something close to that. Like, all right, now you understand that, oh man, I only make 55. I don't make 70, right? But that ain't with health insurance and all the other things that comes out of your check. And we're going to talk about some other important things as well. There's another tax bracket I want to talk about, because we're talking about the millionaire mindset, but I want people to think about what it actually takes to be a millionaire and some of the things around it, because what the other thing we do is we mystify things that we don't have. So whenever I used to do this, I'm so guilty of this. When I was younger, whenever I saw somebody, like, let's say if like my parents knew somebody and they drove a Porsche or they had a big house, I'm like, well, he got to make this amount. They got to be rich, right? Because I didn't know some people just making bad financial decisions. But let's say even if they are wealthy, it's important to understand that wealthy people pay more taxes, right? Wealthy people pay 37% taxes. Now you might think that don't sound like much if you got wealth, but let's say you, not them, you make $578,000 a year. Don't it sound good, Johnny? Oh yeah, Johnny, I'm making $578. I make over $500,000 silly. Look at you making $500,000 a year. Not after you pay your 37%. That means you pay about $214,000 a year for taxes, John. Wow, my God. $200,000 in taxes? Jesus. Help us, God. That leaves you with about $364,000 a year, John, after taxes. But that's not including health insurance and your other expenses and things. So even if you're making a lot of money, do you see how quick money can go? And that's one of the first things we need to understand. You need to put your money in its place and understand it, or else it will just keep going instead of growing. And I'm going to tell y'all something coming up here shortly. I only got a couple more slides and this is super important, so stick around. This is the part where you share and tell other people to listen, okay? Your money's going instead of growing. And that's a big problem. And if you want to change that, first you have to change your mind. That's why we're talking about the millionaire mindset, because it starts with you. Here's what